Hi everyone, today I'm going to recommend you a couple of books that you should read during this autumn, as well as showing you how extensive my TBR for the season is. Because around this time of the year I realize, hey, you're behind your reading goal and there's just a couple of months left and you have to do something about it. I have organized my autumn reading recommendations in two sections. We have cozy and spooky. And just in case you are curious about the genre each book is going to be, I'm going to pop it on the screen as I'm talking about them. Let's begin with the cozy section. First up, we have one of my favorites, which I rave about every single autumn on my Bookstagram. That's why so far I think I have successfully convinced over 20 people to read it, and I really hope I'm going to convince you as well, because trust me, if you want a perfect book for autumn, this is it. This right here. Also, look at the sprayed edges. Let me set the mood. Witches have kept the climate stable for centuries, their power being the strongest in the season that they were born in. But the shader's grief disrupted nature and it threw the whole atmosphere into chaos, basically climate change. Now witches are struggling to maintain the balance, and we actually see auroras where they shouldn't appear, and there are tornadoes in seasons where they shouldn't be. And there's one witch that can save everyone, and that's Clara, our main character. She's an ever, and she does not want to be one, because everyone depends on her and she cannot control all the power that she has. So the school for witches that she's attending actually pairs her with someone that can control her power. Not really, he can control her emotions, because that's the reason why she cannot control her power. And that someone is Sang, which is my favorite book boyfriend ever. But Clara is stubborn, and because she hurt people in the past, she does not really want to let Sang get close to her. That does not stop him though. I'm falling for him again. He is perfect for my quality time and words of affirmation girl. Is like, who, this man, you have to read this one. Now, it wouldn't be me if I didn't recommend you a book that features a cat, especially since that book is one of my comfort reads, and that is She and Her Cat by Makoto Shinkai. This book is so heartwarming because it features multiple cats and their owners, and they're all connected to each other in one way or another. What's really cool is that it actually switches between the cat's point of view and their owners, and we get to see how a cat thinks, how a cat views their owner, and it's so sweet, and it got me so emotional because I was thinking, I wonder how my cats view me. I would probably cry if I knew though. I have to say that overall, this book just felt like a warm hug. My next recommendation is for when you have a whole weekend free and you don't know what to do with it, because trust me, this duology is going to consume you. You will not be able to put it down. Trust. It's The Dance of Thieves by Pearson, and this duology has it all. Action, romance, and plenty of trauma. The first book kicks off with Cosy, and she's a thief that now is working for the queen and her enemy, which is Jace. And well, let's just say that things are complicated and he's not going to be her enemy for long. There's war, betrayal, and a serious enemy to lovers tension. Oh, and they literally get shackled together early on, and the banter is just chef's kiss. By the second book, Vow of Thieves, their romance takes the spotlight, and I have to say I was focusing more on their romance than on the actual plot of the book. Don't ask me what was happening, or I know that they were such a cute couple. I mean, how can I not be interested in them? Because that dude would walk through fire for her. He was head over heels for her. He's another one of my favorite book boyfriends. If I didn't convince you to read this yet, I have to say that there's found family. So come on, give this one a go. The next book does not particularly scream autumn, but it's so unique and it's so amazingly paced that you can just spend a cozy evening in reading it. It's Once Upon a Fever by Angharad Walker, and this one is so dystopian, but it feels so real. This book is about a society where people get sick after experiencing extreme emotions, and then they get admitted into hospitals where they can or cannot be treated for their illness. The catch is only some people get sick, and that's what the medics, aka doctors, are trying to find out, why only some and the others are just fine. Hunt for the Cure was fascinating, and if I were to describe it, I would go for how capitalism takes advantage of mentally or physically ill people to make money. Because one of the options that they could have done to kind of stop the illness from progressing or like even cure it in the earlier stages is nature. The people just need to be out and about in nature. This book is a mix of The Promised Neverland, the manga, although I didn't read the manga, I watched the anime, and the Divergent series. It's the perfect mix between those two. For this next book that I'm going to recommend, I'm actually not quite sure which category it belongs to, because the topic is spooky, but the vibes are so cozy. It's The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, and in this one, it's actually a fluffy romance where Florence, writer, she falls for her editor who is a ghost, and then the question that arises is romance truly dead? I must say that for this one, the plot twist, I could just see them from a mile away, but that didn't make me put the book down. It actually got me more intrigued into it, and I kept on reading, and I think I finished this one in one sitting. I appreciated that not only was it a cute story, but also incorporated some heavy topics, for example, death, and basically how it is not something that you cry about, but rather something that you should celebrate. You should celebrate the memories that you had with the living and the life that they lived, which was sweet. To the main character, Florence, I didn't realize why I was relating to her so much until I found out that she's the eldest daughter, that, you know, she had to leave the town she grew up in because it was suffocating her and she was trying to make a better living somewhere else. And I was like, yeah, same. Before we dive into this one though, I have to warn you that Florence is a human and, you know, Benji, the editor, it's not. And they can or cannot touch. It's definitely a slow burn. You know, I'm someone that has a very short attention span, and because of that, I don't really read a lot of series, but duologies, oh, if they're unique, I can go through them. And this one right here, it's one of my favorites, and it's The Girl with No Soul by Morgan Owen, which, wow, this one got 5 stars from the get-go. I just fell in love with it right away. And why is that, you may ask? Well, it's because it reminded me of Divergent again. I'm so sorry. I know I mentioned Divergent a lot, but it's one of my comfort series. It's what I grew up with and kind of shaped me the way I am. And whenever I find elements of that, I'm like, oh wow, the throwback, the nostalgia. I wish I was 14 again. In this duology, the world is divided based on the most prominent characteristics of the souls, and there are 5 of them. And let me see if I can remember them. The shadow, the spark, the spirit, the heart, and the soul. Right away, you can see the similarities with Divergent, since in Divergent there were factions, and here they are houses. One thing I really like about how this duology has been done is the fact that in the first book, we kind of meet the main characters, and we are seeing how they're planning to overthrow the government. And also, we kind of fell in love with the main characters because they are so sweet. I love Ruby and Oliver. And in the second one, we see the aftermath of that, and how there's a lot of politics and power struggles, and there's actually a new house to be created, which is very corrupt, but the propaganda that, you know, they're putting out is very good. And Ruby and Oliver are trying to stop that, but there's actually trouble between them. And it just had my heart, you know, just please, because they're about to break up so many times, which it might have happened. Cozy category done, let's move on to the spooky one. First up, it's Survive the Night by Riley Sager, and this thriller was indeed thrilling. Let me just set the mood for you. Desperation courses through you after a traumatic university experience, and you want to go back home, but you don't have a ride. So you are putting an announcement on the rideshare board of university, and someone replies to that announcement, and they say, oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna take you because I'm going that direction anyway. The night falls, you meet up with him, and you are all ready for the journey, until something strange happens. When you are going for the trunk to stow away your belongings, he's kind of standing in front of it and not allowing you to see what he has there. That's kind of weird, right? Why is he blocking it with his body? Does he have something to hide? You're suspicious of it, but you are just dismissing it because, well, maybe he just wanted to help you with your bags and there's nothing else going on. You convince yourself that everything will be just fine and hop into his car, and everything is fine until on your ride, you know, you engage in small talk, and there's actually a pressing subject that comes between 2 of you, and it's the elusive campus killer that you guys are going to talk about. This killer, he is still at large and no one ever found out who he really is, and you're actually thinking, what if he is the killer? Questions swirl in your mind as you realize that there's some inconsistencies in the things that he told you, because in the beginning of the journey he told you that he's going a certain direction and now he's actually going somewhere else. And then you see his driver license and it's not the same person, but you're not sure if it's like, are you making things up? Is your anxiety? No, what's happening? You start panicking, and especially because you have this thing where movies and real life, you don't know when you are actually what you're seeing is real or it's a scene from the movie. And well, could this be a movie? Is this real life? Well, find out. Gosh, I hope I convinced you, because this thriller was a lot. I think the writing could have been a bit better for it, but the whole idea of it was so spooky. I loved it. My next recommendation is a book that I would like you to tread carefully with, because in the beginning, I have to say I did not like it. It was like a second chance book when In the beginning I was thinking, do I DNF it? Do I continue? It's not that good, but I continued, and then it got so good. It's House of Hollow by Krystal Sutherland, and this book follows three very unique sisters who go missing, but then one day they just reappear and people are wondering, is that really them? They're acting a bit weird. You see, if you can get past the very slow beginning, this book is very captivating in an unhinged way, because it's very gross. The depictions of everything that's going on, of death, of the decomposing bodies, of the smell around these sisters that follow them, my god, you can almost smell it. The descriptions are so good. This book kind of feels like it could haunt you, so if you are interested in that, then well, give it a go. Another spooky read is Before You Knew My Name by Jacqueline Bublitz, and it's not often that a thriller actually sends shivers down my spine, but this one did, and the writing in this one was so unique. Alice and Ruby, they almost have nothing in common when they first arrived to NYC, just the fact that they both left their homes to come here for a better life. But their stories are about to merge when one day Ruby finds a body, and it's Alice. When I first dived into this book, I did not expect it to be as captivating as it was, because Alice is still narrating. She's one of the narrators, and she's still alive in a way. And I had to keep on reading to see, because she was kind of sending signals, sending little clues to Ruby about what happened to her, even though Ruby couldn't really hear her. And then we get Ruby's perspective of everything and the way she thinks. And it's so cleverly done. There's a sad moment when, after they found Alice's body, you know, everybody, if you don't know who it is, it's a Jane Doe. And Alice actually tells Ruby, although Ruby cannot hear her, like, my name is not Jane Doe, my name is Alice, but Ruby cannot hear her. And that made me so sad. Keeping Alice alive as a narrator, that was such a unique touch. I don't think I have encountered that in any thriller before. And also, there was some very heavy topics discussed, especially the frequency of violence against women. So this book kind of takes a very feminist perspective, which I enjoyed reading about. Highly recommend. You must wonder what are all these books here behind me and why I have not talked about any of them yet. Well, here is my autumn TBR. That's a lot of books, and I hope that I can get through them. My must reads for this autumn are these two, or at least one of them, because I've been on Bookstagram for 2 years, and until this point, after everyone told me you should read them, you love autumn and these are perfect, dark academia vibes. If I don't have neither of this included in my October wrap-up, please come after me. Please hold me accountable. I must. Recently, one booktalker that I've been following for a while released a book, and it's Let's Split Up by Bill Wood. I heard so many good things about this one, and I think I'm going to read it very soon, since the hype is getting to me. I actually saw TikTok, that's why I went and purchased it on the day of its release from the works, and I got a bookmark which says here on the back, "Isn't that how every horror movie begins?" I like that. And oh, by the way, these sprayed edges, like, please, I love them. And also I got a pin, which is very cute, and I'm not going to be using this one. As you can see, it's still wrapped up, because I'm someone who is very afraid of losing things, especially after I put it in my backpack. And I'm probably just going to put this pin with the rest of my other things that I'll never use, because I'm too scared to lose them, and for me they're memories, and they're probably gonna gather dust, but memories. Earlier I recommended you House of Hollow, and even though I didn't like the beginning, it got very good afterwards. And I was actually curious if the writing improved when I saw that the same author, Krystal Sutherland, released another book called The Invocations. And I got it. I'm curious. I'll read it soon. It looks creepy again. And it has these beautiful sprayed edges. I like this light purple. Was also a major factor why I got it. Romance-wise, I really want to read Bright by Ali Hazelwood. The thing is, I had this for a couple of months. I probably got it when it was released. And I haven't read it because usually I wait a bit to see what people say after the hype dies down. And after the hype died down, so many bad reviews came up for this one. So many DNFs, especially from some of my friends. And I was like, oh, But now that I have it, I have to read it, so I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a go. Well, for this one, the cover says it all. It's literary horror, and I thought this is going to be a perfect read for Halloween. For this one, I'd like you to look at these gorgeous red sprayed edges. Can you believe that I got this from the library? I was in absolute shock when I saw that my library actually has special editions of books. This one is a sprayed edge one, and it's When She Woke by Hilary Jordan. This looked very, very spooky, and I have to give it a try very, very soon because I think I need to return it in like a week. Speaking of the library, I also got this duology from there because I fell in love with this cover. I think this is the Stars and Smoke duology from Marilu. I mean, come on, the covers, they're so nice. I have no clue what this is about, but I hope it's good. The next book I'm going to show you, I have to warn you, it's very creepy, so beware. The cover is it's terrifying, but it's this. I feel like this eye, it's watching me. So creepy, but I thought this was another perfect read for Halloween, and it's 18 stories of modern horror. Last but not least, I have a lot of cozy books which I'm planning to read because I'm in the UK, which means lots of rain this autumn, which also means that I'm going to be indoors most of the time. So I have a lot of Japanese fiction, like a lot of it. I heard only good things about these two books, and it's Days at the Morisaki Bookshop, and the sequel is More Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. It looks very cozy. I'm excited to dive in, as well as I'm excited to dive into the Kamogawa Food Detectives. It had a cat on the cover, that's why I got it. It has a cat, I'll buy it. And then also Sweet Bean Paste. I thought the cover was very cute. And I have another book with a cat on the cover, which is What You're Looking For Is in the Library. The last book on my TBR for autumn is the runaway Korean sensation, Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop. I fell in love with this small town vibes kinda, and there is a bookshop. It looks very cozy. I'm excited, and honestly, talking about books so much for like the past 2 hours made me so excited to read. And so excited for autumn and the vibes that it brings, and I hope that it had the same effect on you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!